So I live in Austin, big Amazon hub, right? So they did their other round of layoffs today. 16,000 people. Multiple people I am hearing about got texts, 10 plus years at Amazon, by the way, got texts and just locked out of their computer system. A lot of people also, don't forget, they have visas that sponsor them. Do you remember visas now cost $100,000? So they have a certain amount of time to find a new job and somebody who will sponsor them for the $100,000. If it's a big company, they'll of course do it. But if it's a smaller company, I don't know. But they risk being deported afterwards. Sure, they get like a really good layoff package, but if you're one of those people who rely on a sponsored based visa for your job, I can't imagine how you feel right now, and I'm so sorry. It's hard to think that all this stuff is not intertwined. That's just the latest update on those Amazon layoffs. I just woke up, I'm sorry.
This is the part nobody is talking about. 16,000 people gone, and some of them are on sponsored visas that now cost $100,000. So, not only did they lose their job through a text message after 10 years, but now they have a countdown to find a new employer willing to pay 6 figures just to sponsor them, or they get deported. Think about that for a second. You move your whole life to this country. You work at one of the biggest companies in the world for a decade, and one morning you wake up and your computer is locked and your visa is on a timer. That's not just a layoff, that's somebody's entire life turned upside down.
Well, that didn't take long. In my video yesterday, I talked about Amazon cutting jobs, which means the others were going to follow suit. Well, today UPS said, yep, here's our 30,000 that we're going to cut on top of the 48 or 50,000 from last year. So it's only going to accelerate once the leaders test the waters again, which I don't even know why they bother, because this layoff as a strategy has been bumping stock prices. I guess at some point maybe the shareholders are pushed back, but I'm not seeing it in the short term. So I guess the question is, for folks still in corporate that have any amount of talent, why are you still there? There's so many other opportunities outside of corporate. Yes, maybe the paycheck's nice and kind of like a drug, and the benefits are a way they try to keep you hooked in. But if you have talent, you absolutely have options outside of corporate. And I don't care if you've been in corporate 4 years or 4 decades, right? There's small businesses, there's nonprofits that all need help. So if you're holding out the hope, and again, if you have talent and you're hoping that this is going to blow over, it's not. It's going to get more chaotic inside corporate before it gets any clearer.
These layoffs aren't a crisis for these companies. They're a strategy. Their fleet, Amazon did it, UPS dropped 30,000 the next morning like it was a competition. They found the cheat code. Less people equals more profit equals happy shareholders. And until that formula stops working, they're not stopping.
It seems like in 2026, hits just keep on coming. So Nike just announced that they will be eliminating over 700 jobs. Now, I ran the numbers quickly. That's about 1% of their employees, and most of these will come from American warehouse workers. So they are going towards automation. Now this, just so you know, is continuation of their firings in 2024. So in February of 2024, they had announced that they would lay off 1,600 folks, which is about 2% of their company's total folks. They laid off about 1% in August of 2024 and then kind of held off until now, when they're announcing 700 plus jobs are being slashed due to automation. Now, I just want to point out one quick thing. The CEO of Nike makes 500 times the average salary of an employee. Why couldn't they cut less jobs and just give him a little bit of a pay cut? But that wouldn't be capitalist, right? Yeah. Okay. Y'all have a good one now. Bye.
Nike's slogan is "Just Do It," and apparently that applies to layoffs too. Just do it. Again and again. Every year since 2024.
This is the start of the AI squeeze. Amazon just cut 16,000 roles, and look what's getting hit. Not just warehouse jobs, roles like engineers, program and product managers, researchers, UX, recruiting, HR, legal, white-collar jobs people thought were safe. Now add UPS. Reports say UPS is planning to cut up to 30,000 operational jobs this year. When a giant changes suppliers or volume, the shock hits whole regions. And then you got Dow planning to cut about 4,500 jobs while pushing AI and automation to boost operations. They are replacing tasks, not just trimming budgets. Companies are rebuilding the workforce around automation. They're flattening management. They're cutting support teams. They're keeping fewer people and using software to do what used to take departments. This doesn't mean no jobs. It means less stable jobs, fewer entry points, competition for what's left. If your plan is, I'll be fine because I have a corporate title, wake up. The middle gets squeezed first, then the teams around them.
Man, this video just laid out the entire situation in 60 seconds, and it hit like a freight train. Amazon cutting 16,000, UPS dropping 30,000, Dow slashing 4,500. That's not a bad quarter. That's a whole economy getting reorganized while we're still updating our LinkedIn profiles like that's going to save us. And then he said, if your plan is, I'll be fine because I have a corporate title, wake up. That line right there needs to be on a billboard outside every Fortune 500 office in America, because that's exactly what people are telling themselves right now. Oh, I'm a senior manager. They need me. Bro, they don't need senior managers anymore. They got software that does your job, doesn't take lunch breaks, and never complains about the office temperature.
Okay, so here's an honest HR explanation behind the 2026 layoffs. This is uncomfortable, but it's important to understand what leadership is prioritizing right now. First and foremost is AI automation. Companies are redesigning workflows so fewer people are needed to do the same amount of work. Roles in operations, marketing, customer support, analytics, and even HR is being consolidated or eliminated. Second is flattening organizations. Companies like Amazon are removing management layers. So that means fewer managers, fewer coordinators, fewer middle roles. The goal is to have more speed and cost savings. Third is the post-pandemic correction. Many companies hired aggressively during 2020 and 2022. Demand slowed, but headcount didn't until now. This is why high performers, long-tenured employees, and even leaders are being laid off.
Finally, someone from the inside explaining what's actually happening instead of just reading headlines. And it makes so much sense when you hear it broken down like this. Companies went crazy hiring during the pandemic because everyone was buying everything online and they needed people. But then the demand slowed down, and instead of gradually adjusting, they just kept everyone on payroll until the numbers didn't work anymore.